One of the biggest shifts happening in real estate right now. What is it? Sellers adjusting their price. Good for buyers, good for the market. According to recent housing market data, listing prices have declined year over year for 19 consecutive weeks. That doesn't necessarily mean home values are crashing. What it means is many sellers are becoming more realistic from the start. Instead of overpricing and reducing later, they're pricing closer to market value on day one. That's creating opportunities for buyers. And it helps serious sellers attract more attention. In today's market, proper pricing matters more than ever. For example, I have clients fairly often, sellers, who I give them all the market data, I give them all the information, I tell them where the property needs to be priced to be competitive and to get the attention from people who can afford and will most likely buy that property, that range where that would be. And even with all the data, people, many sellers are emotionally involved and they can't step back and see this from a business standpoint, and they overprice their property. And when that happens, in many cases, so if the home or the property, land or house should be priced, let's say, at $6,000 an acre. We'll go with land. Let's say the property should be priced at about $6,000 per acre because all of the similar properties of that caliber in a 10-mile area, same size and all of that. Let's say all of those are priced $5,000 to $7,000 an acre. So we'll go with six. It's in the middle and it's a good round, baseline. Well, the seller wants to price it at double that, 12,500, 12,500 per acre. Well, the problem then is you get the people who can actually afford that property if it was priced properly. Those people are never going to see it because when they set up their search, or their agent, realtor, broker sets up a property search for them, or when they set up their search on one of the other popular home searching websites. When you do that, you're going to set maybe a minimum, but you're definitely going to set a maximum price range for your budget. Well, if this particular property that should be $75,000 is priced at $125,000, well, all the people who have their search set at a maximum of 85, 95, even $100,000, expecting to negotiate a little off, they're never going to see that property because it's priced too high. And then on the other hand, flip side, the people who could afford that higher price, well, they're going to flash by it because they're going to see the property, and buyers aren't stupid. And most buyers, if they have an agent or broker, realtor, then they're going to have at least a little advice on comparing properties. So I'll say the same property is 10 acres and it's priced at $125,000. Well, all of the comparable properties in that same 10-mile radius, well, everything else that's priced in that same price range is either 20 acres, even 30 or 35 acres, right, that needs a little work. Or if it's closer to the 10 acres, it's got nice fencing, it's got utilities close by, it's been cleared, it's got a home site, it's got a gate, a driveway, almost ready to go. Sometimes they'll even have a well and an electric meter on site. So it might be about the same size, but it's going to be significantly improved from the other property that we're comparing it to, right? So those buyers and with technology, buyers can be very educated and have lots of data available to check out the properties, right? So they're going to compare, okay, I have this one that's 10 acres, it's all wooded and no improvements. It's got some road frontage, but no improvements. It's not cleared, it's heavily brushed, and you can't even walk through it really, right? And then the comparable properties in the same price range are just a much higher caliber of property. And so this one just sits and it gets discounted. And then In many cases, the seller thinks that, we need to remarket or rebrand something, but they're not willing to drop the price. And, that's how it goes. If they want to sell it, they'll price it appropriately, or they can wait to find an uninformed buyer. And I wish them good luck with that. So, what do you think the reason is yourself? What do you think that reason is that most sellers will overprice their properties? Let me know in the comments.